Hello and good morning, everybody. This is Barbara Ann, and welcome to my channel, Straight Out of Context. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day full of love, surprises, gifts, chocolate, wine, whatever floats your boat. I hope it's beautiful, and I hope everybody has had a really good week so far. The last 2 days, we have seen a lot of videos and news publishings about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle dropping a new website called www.sussex.com. I am briefly going to show you this website. And as you see at the top, it is full of little hints of royal. Because who are they without those royal titles, and reminding everybody of that? And of course, you see the coat of arms up at the top. It says the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And of course, they're going to play on those titles because that really is the only thing they can do to try to monetize anything that they put their hands on or anything that they get involved in. And Meghan Markle has officially dropped the Markle from her name. And as everybody knows, her name is not Meghan. Her first name is Rachel. Meghan is her middle name. So, of course, when she married Harry, she no doubtedly legally took his last name, which is Mountbatten Windsor. However, because of her being on Suits and Suits having a revive, being on Netflix and people watching it and having a little bit of a comeback, of course, she was keeping her professional name because that's what she went by. That's what she's known by. That's what she's been called. But however, with all the negative connections to the last name Markle, I can see why she dropped it officially, especially if it's not her legal last name anymore. There is a defamation suit pending. Her sister is suing her for defamation, for the lies, the slander, the libel that has been perpetrated against her. Her father has done numerous interviews. Her brother, sister, and father also have done a documentary. Really, her father doesn't understand why. I mean, one small mistake, and she's Xing him out like she does with everybody else. She is doing that for a very psychological reason because Harry has a difficult time with the press, doesn't like the press, doesn't trust the press, believes that the British press are at the core, the center, the heart of everything wrong in his life, in her life, blaming the British press for what happened to Princess Diana. Never mind having a drunk driver, not wearing her seatbelt, and not even being in Britain, being in France during the time of her death. He still blames the British press. So when Thomas Markle pulled the stunt that he did with whoever it was, I believe that's when she said, okay, I have to X him out. But it also gave her the perfect excuse because she can manipulate Harry into, oh, I was so close with my dad. You lost your mom, but I lost my dad. He's not dead, but yes, I'm grieving the loss of my father. Because it's unacceptable that he would go to anybody at the British press and work with them and stage photos or any such thing. Because Harry sees it as a betrayal. She had to X her dad out, but it gave her the perfect excuse to say, look at what I have given for this relationship. I lost my dad for this relationship. I have given up my family for this relationship. The same way you lost your mom, look at me. I'm losing my family and my dad, and look at what my family are doing to me, doing to us, doing to our kids. And it's even worse because they're still alive. Look at how they're betraying me. Look at the grief I'm going through. Look at all the things I've sacrificed to be with you. That is the worst psychological manipulation that anybody can pull on a spouse or romantic partner in any capacity. To me, that is just downright wrong. And for somebody to preach constantly about compassion and kindness and sympathy and every single buzzword, positive and proactive buzzword that you can imagine or look up in a dictionary or think of from the top of your head, Meghan Markle has used it. But this is why nobody likes them and nobody ever will like them and nobody will ever trust them. Because when you preach about compassion and kindness and forgiveness and sympathy and all of that, and you're also preaching about community and family and togetherness, and you're preaching about all of that, the last thing she has ever done was shown compassion and kindness, redemption, and forgiveness for her own family. And there's a reason for that. Because she doesn't have a deceased parent. So how can she compare what Harry went through losing his mom to, but I've went through the same thing. Look at what I've gone through and what I've been through and what I've sacrificed and what I've had to grieve for you. And there's nothing more controlling and nothing more narcissistic and megalomaniac and dark than that, and using that against a spouse, because it is not the same. Her father is alive. Her father wants to see her. Her father wants to know his grandchildren and meet them. And she has denied him that. She is not God. She is not anybody. She doesn't get to pick and say who is deserving of kindness and forgiveness and redemption. And she is the last person to ever show in positive and proactive action with her deeds, with what she does, that she practices compassion and forgiveness and kindness. In fact, it's been the exact opposite. Now, this website, as you can see, is just solely set up to self-promote, monetize, get people to their other websites. And if you look here, down at the bottom, it clearly says Archewell Foundation, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Archewell Productions. Archewell Productions. At Archewell Productions, we believe that stories have the power to unite and inspire audiences around the globe. Yeah, that's true. But people don't always want unity and inspiration. Audiences are more likely to gather around true stories, crime stories, animation. There's a lot of things, even horror or period dramas, true stories based on real people. Those are the things that are going to unite and inspire audiences around the globe, because there's nothing more inspirational than a true story or a documentary based on a true person. And that whole thing is a part of their downfall, because they want everything to come across as some beautiful, inspirational, perfect, oh, look at the human diversity, yet look at the strength, look at the inspiration in this story. But unfortunately, those are not the types of documentaries and films that people are going to want to buy and rewatch and share and tell their friends, oh, this was amazing, you got to watch this. Yeah, maybe once or twice, but it's not the type of thing that's going to sell, do good, and continuously do good. So that whole thing right there is a part of why they're losing money. They're losing money, and only into a couple years later. So funded in 2020 by Prince Harry and Meghan, Prince Harry and Rachel, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Our company is dedicated to illuminating, thought-provoking, and diverse narratives that underscore our common humanity and celebrate community through scripted and non-scripted TV, film, documentaries, and podcasting. That's bullshit. Nobody wants that. You want to come across as some royal, know-it-all, do good, be good, holier than thou. But you're not holier than thou. God didn't select you or anoint you to be the representation and the representative and the governor and the mayor and the police and the gatekeeper of what is to be deemed inspirational and uniting and positive or thought-provoking or diverse for humanity to celebrate. And humanity can celebrate whatever they want through scripted and non-scripted TV, film, documentaries, and podcasting. That's the problem right there, is the control. This is control. And it's really weird that somebody would want to do nothing but look at our fake image and our fake persona. It's perfect. It's whitewashed. It's amazing. Look at, we're good people. We're kind. We're compassionate. We're helpful. We have our hands dipped in all these amazing, beautiful, compassionate, and kind cookie jars. And that right there is a part of their problem, because everybody can see right through that facade, that fake persona, and that fake image. Just the fact that somebody is putting out a fake reputation and a fake persona and a fake image that they want society and the public at large to buy into and to believe tells you right there that they're not who they really say they are. And the reason being is because if you are who you really say you are, you don't need a persona and a fake image and to revive and rebrand yourself and do all that, because you are who you are. That should shine through in everything you do and don't do. And that is the difference between Princess Diana and these two clowns. Princess Diana knew the importance of the press, and she used it and manipulated it to her advantage while smiling and still in the same breath pretending like, oh no, you're hounding me. Oh no, get away from me. Everybody knows Princess Diana understood and played and manipulated to the press to her benefit, and she did it long before her and King Charles III were ever legally divorced. She played them. As much as she might have hated it or might have thought it was a negative thing in her life, she still played that game. I truly believe that if she wanted privacy and a quiet life, there's no doubt she could have had exactly what she wanted and exactly that. So if we go back to their main page here, of course, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, this takes you right to their website. And this site was established in 2020 and sets out the work streams of Prince Harry and Rachel, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, prior to their move to the United States. To learn more about the royal couple and their philanthropic endeavors, click here. So the fact that this was before, this whole website and everything was established before their move to the United States, this was their royal website. This was about their royal duties and obligations and the things that they were doing. Remember, Rachel, Meghan Markle, didn't even complete 72 full engagements as her time as a working royal. And that's shameful. Because if you look at some of the other working royal family members or the senior royal family members, you see people like Princess Anne. She does hundreds, if not thousands, of engagements every year, every 365 days. And her work ethic cannot be beat or matched by anybody. But it should be, because they're younger, they're a couple, and they have lots of time and staff and press on their side. The thing is Harry just constantly fighting against it because he hates the press. He blames the press. That doesn't mean he's right. That's just his opinion and how he feels about it. Okay, everybody knows that Princess Diana, the inquest, the investigation, the autopsy report, eyewitnesses, everybody knows. She was unbuckled, with her back facing the windshield, turned so that way they couldn't get pictures of her. There was a drunk driver speeding. I don't care if paparazzi is chasing you. Why would you speed? Why would you risk everybody's life because the person was intoxicated and their motor skills were not very good because they were intoxicated, hence crashing into a pillar? And of course, all of those little small details added up to she died. And it unfortunately and sadly happens all the time, because out of anybody on this planet, the one person that deserved to have a long, beautiful, lasting life is Princess Diana. But look at all the things that she accomplished, even all this time that she's been gone. People still talk about her constantly. But look at all of the things that she had accomplished in her short time. God calls us home when he calls us home. And apparently her work here had been done. But unfortunately, Prince Harry, he's got some deeper issues regarding that. And his wife is definitely playing into the psychological warfare with him. And he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know he's being manipulated. And that's what's so sad, because everybody loved Prince Harry. Everybody wanted him to be happy and to find somebody good. Not somebody who's constantly trying to tell everybody that they're good. Not somebody who's constantly trying to tell society and the public at large that they're a good person, that they're kind, that they're this, that they're that. But somebody who actually is. All of that time and energy that Rachel Markle spends trying to get everybody to think that, oh, look at us, we're good, we're doing good work, writing good books, doing good podcasts, trying to rewrite the narrative of society, trying to right all the wrongs, trying to bring attention and donate money to causes that actually matter. All that time and energy she could really put towards actually being a compassionate and kind person. And that's what's funny about narcissists, is they never realize that. And that's the number one telltale sign of somebody being a narcissist and a sociopath and a megalomaniac, is they never focus on it would take so much less time and less energy, and people will love and admire you so much more for being yourself and just being kind and just being a good, decent human than it does every moment of your waking life trying to convince everybody that you are something that you are not. And that's the irony to me in their marriage, in their life, and they're leaving the royal family and all of the things that they're doing now. So this takes you still to when they were working royal. They have to tie everything. They've been living in America for a couple years, and they left the royal family, and they still want to tie everything to those titles, those UK titles. Well, you're a US citizen. Forget the titles. In fact, they should be stripped of the titles. Because this is not the UK. We separated from the UK with the Revolutionary War, and we gained our independence, okay? We're the United States of America. Your royal titles mean nothing here. They might mean something to people over there, but it means nothing here. So it's really funny that they have to have their monogram, their emblem, their coat of arms, and of course the title Prince, and the title the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and of course their royal website, which they haven't been working with the royal family for, since 2020, so that's 4 years now, and they're still wanting to link people to that. Well, they got the link to Archewell Foundation and Archewell Productions. And the fact that they both were created in 2020 before they left the royal family tells you that they had already plotted and planned. They have to have a way to make money. What better way than to start a business or a corporation or whatever it is that you want to call it, because they have to have a way to make money. Not to spend money and to put money towards good causes, into things that really matter, that will proactively and positively change communities around the globe and actually do all the things that they preach about. But to make money to fund their privilege, their entitlement, and their lifestyle. And luxury, no doubt. So if you go to Archewell Foundation, click on that. Show up, do good. We believe in the power of community as a transformative solution for our collective well-being. Well, first of all, communities are different everywhere throughout every continent for all 8 billion people. A transformative solution can be neither negative or positive. Transformation doesn't mean necessarily a good transformation. It could be a bad transformation, but a transformative solution for our collective well-being. So you're basically saying they believe in the power that a community has for solving their collective well-being. There's a lot of communities on this planet that don't have negative well-being to begin with. There's a lot of communities that are thriving because they have a solution. They're all good, decent, kind human beings that look out for one another and care for one another and work hard. So this is just crazy. This is just buzzword, feel-good words to put up to make it sound like they actually have something here. What is the Archewell Foundation? It's a gimmick. It's a scam. It's a con. It's a way to launder money and to fund their lifestyle. Building community for women, uplifting communities, restoring trust in information, promoting information integrity and ethical journalism as a fundamental right and as an essential need for the well-being of societies the world over. Well, that's funny. That's really funny. That one of the top 3 things they're promoting here is building a better world online, advocating for a safer digital world for all, and restoring trust in information. That sounds to me like control. With Prince Harry already hating the British press and the press everywhere because he can't control the narrative and the stories and the opinion pieces about him. But that's ethical journalism, and that is a fundamental right of journalists to be able to take what they know or their sources or their information, whether you trust that information or not. They have that right. It's a fundamental right. The essential need for somebody's well-being in the societies, that's not affected by journalism. So they're throwing society and community and well-being mentally, emotionally, physically into negative journalism. Like people that make up stories and don't really have a source, which is illegal. And of course, many other things. Saying things that they don't like, that they don't want, tied to their reputation, their fake image, and their fake persona. So it's really funny that here it sounds like another bunch of buzzwords. It sounds like they want to control what's put out about them. Never mind whether or not what they put out about themselves is true or not, or defamatory towards another person or not, or make somebody else look bad. So they themselves do the same exact thing that they blame the British press for doing. And that is hypocrisy so bad, you can't justify or condone it. And building a better world online, advocating for a safer digital world for all. Sounds to me like they don't like 8 billion people on this planet having access to their own social media and forming their own opinions and posting their own opinions or posting their own videos, their own thoughts. Well, guess what? That is a fundamental right of every single one of 8 billion people on this planet across 7 continents and 195 nations that is on this world. That is a fundamental right of all 8 billion people to form and have their own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And it is their right to put that in the digital world. And if you don't like that being safe, then don't go on the digital world. This is just another way for them to control journalism and to control what's put out online. That's exactly what this boils down to. You made a foundation for that. You made a foundation to try to have control You want control because you want to control what's put out about you. How about not being an asshole? How about not being a psycho, narcissistic, megalomaniac, psychological egoist, and just being a good, decent, kind human being? Because who you really are is always going to shine through. People are going to have their intuition, their thoughts, and their opinions, and they're going to know something's not right with that person. The things they're saying is not matching their action. Why are they constantly saying that, but yet they have never proven anything that they say to be really at the core of who they are? Because their whole sale and their whole gimmick is about making society and the public believe that there are these great and amazing people. But behind closed doors, these two are as rotten as they come. And I truly believe, for one, Meghan Markle, she did not want to leave the royal family. I really believe she did not manipulate that. I believe that Harry made that decision. And I don't think she thought he would really leave. Because her titles, the money, the funding, the clothes, the attention, the love, all of it, she wouldn't have that tie if they're not living in the UK and directly related to the royal family. I really believe that she knew and understood that. But she was doing the boohoo, pity me, look at me, I'm suicidal. Telling somebody that you are suicidal while you're pregnant with a baby, telling them that you're going to kill not only yourself but their child, that is a whole nother level of mentally and psychologically fucked up. And nobody can tell me that you cannot get therapy because Princess Diana had a psychologist and a psychologist come to her when she was living in Kensington Palace. So I don't want to hear Prince Harry say no bullshit about, oh, he was in therapy, did interviews about mental well-being and mental health with William and Kate, talking about getting into therapy. But then on whole nother interview, he says he didn't know how to help her. They denied her therapy. Well, get a therapist and bring it to her. Your mother did it. There's no excuse for that. She didn't receive help because it was a bluff. It was a manipulation of her husband. Boo, look at the press and what they're doing to me. It's so bad that I would just be better dead. And not only am I going to kill myself, but the baby that's inside of her. And that is a whole other level of completely effed up. Prince Harry, he either is so ignorant that he does not know or see her for who she really is, or he's equally as bad and doesn't want that to be exposed. But this whole website, this is a joke. This is nothing more than a joke. And them riding that royal dick train as hard as they fucking can. For money. It all comes down to money. Because he is used to a certain lifestyle, luxury, and privilege that has been afforded to him his whole life. But he's never going to be king. And as he gets older and married and has children, the lifestyle that he was always afforded gets less and less and less as he gets pushed down the line of succession and as his duties became less and he decides to step back. You cannot say, hey, you know what? I don't like being a prince. I don't like being a working royal family member. I want all of the luxury and all of the good, but none of the bad, and not doing the physical job that's required of you. And they talk about how it was so hard for them to put their mental health first. and to step back and to redo their life and to move to America and not knowing where they were going to end up or where their family was going to end up, and how much strength that took and how much bravery that took. There is nothing more courageous and brave and resilient and strong than somebody like Queen Elizabeth II, putting aside her hopes, her dream, her family, her life, her mental, emotional, and physical well-being, and doing the job anyway, and staying anyway, and doing it with class, and doing it with grace. So while it's easy for somebody to not even complete 72 engagements, imagine how many engagements the Queen did in almost 74 years, on top of all the ones she did before she became Queen. Just because she made it look easy with class and grace doesn't mean that she didn't have struggles, that she didn't have emotional, mental, and physical struggles. She just didn't make it the focal point to negate, deflect, project, justify, condone, excuse, reason away why she was a coward and stepped back. So nobody can tell me that anything is more courageous and brave than standing up and doing the job anyway. And that is why God chooses who he chooses and doesn't the unworthy. And these two clowns, they are truly unworthy. Now, I don't wish them any hate or animosity or ill will at all, physically, mentally, emotionally. But these two, they're not a representation. They're not a representative of kindness, compassion, humanitarianism, filmmaking, or producing. They're not a representative of the USA and who people are, who I am. And I don't want them constantly forcing their way onto my social media apps or my Hulu and Netflix. And I don't want them thinking that they can be a representation for how my community, myself, and my well-being and everybody else around me should go. Considering these two clowns have absolutely no idea what it means to actually struggle and to work hard and to be physically disabled and to still not be able to support your family and pay your bills and live. They have no idea what it's like to suffer through cancer. They have no idea what it's like to suffer with a physical disability or anything that anybody else on this planet may be going through. Because their sole focus is how to get money, how to pay their bills, their mortgage, how to pay for their security, their flights, their travel, their awards, and show up at red carpets to make themselves appear to be not just real royalty, but American royalty. Not here, Meghan. Not here, Rachel Meghan Markle, and not here, Prince Harry. You're not a representation or representative or any kind of political or public figure for me, my community, people that struggle, and people that need the help. You're the last two people on this planet I would ever turn to try to actively get something positively changed or done. Because show me an example of what good you have done, what compassion you have shown, what forgiveness and redemption you have given to somebody who very well might not deserve it, but gets it anyway. None. Nada. They haven't even spoken about the RAPE and ABUSE that has been going on with the African parks, which Prince Harry sits on the board as. And they're not going to, because they want the internet to be scrubbed of that. That's why they want to control journalism, and they want to control the online world. They want to control what people see, hear, and therefore psychologically control what you think about them so they can make more money. Fuck your company. Fuck your fake royalty. Fuck your bullshit. Fuck your buzzwords and your feel-good words. And fuck your true characters, because you're both jackasses who deserve nothing.